Good morning, everyone. This Sunday, rainy morning, we are going to delve into a medical subject which is very, very, very important. We all must have heard the word coma. The full form is comatose. A person actually goes in the coma, that person is identified as comatose patient. What happens in coma? Why do we go in coma? What kind of treatment available? When the person actually re-emerge out of coma? How long the person can probably stay in coma? Every single thing we are going to discuss about in a brief time that we have. So point number one, actually the comatose or coma was invented by Dr. Thomas Sydenham in early 19th century. I have prepared actually 3 points: causes, treatment, and outlook. These 3 points actually encompass every single thing that we need to know in a brief dosco. So first of all, we are going to go into causes. What are the causes of coma? Why the person actually becomes comatose? What makes us to go into coma? So causes are, first is brain injury. If any kind of brain injury, the child is actually fallen or actually falls down and sustains some kind of injury, or elderly person. Actually, elderly person means a person who is in his 70, 80, means he is septuagenarian or octogenarian. He is walking with cane and something happens and he loses his balance and falls down, sustains brain injury, goes into coma. So we have to be very careful. Second point is trauma. Any kind of, worst kind of accident, worst kind of scenario, worst kind of situation occurred that we cannot handle. In that kind of situation, our blood actually freezes, kind of goes into thrombosis. Blood doesn't go into brain, oxygen doesn't go into the brain, and wherever our oxygen doesn't go, means wherever the oxygen doesn't go, that particular organ stops functioning or malfunction, dysfunction, misfunction. So when oxygen doesn't go into the brain in ample amount, we suffer from comatose condition. Neuroinfection. Infection can occur everywhere. Infection can be cutaneous, subcutaneous. Infection can be on the surface of our body. Infection can be actually found in our soft organs, in our brain. So when the infection is actually occurred in our cerebral faculty or in our brain, then coma condition can occur. Cerebral palsy. Lots of people in their septuagenarian or octogenarian or nonagenarian age, they actually develop this known as cerebral palsy. The brain actually develops some kind of fissures. And in that condition also, if condition worsens, if person doesn't take care of that condition, then person can actually end up in comatose condition. Next is hypoxia. Hypoxia means total deficiency of oxygen. Say, for example, when the fire breaks out in a tall building in which there may be 50 or 60 people trapped. Fire actually consumes a lot, so oxygen doesn't leave any kind of oxygen for the people. And those people who die in the fire, most of them don't die because of the burns, but most of the people die because of the hypoxia. Means they don't get any oxygen to breathe. So when oxygen is not there, that actually happens and sends the person in coma. America has developed a kind of bomb known as oxygen bomb. And the severity of that bomb is that when the bomb is detonated on the city of Junagadh, for example, people are not going to blow up or buildings are not going to destroy, nothing would happen. What would happen is that that bomb, as soon as it detonated, that bomb is going to suck up all the oxygen over the city of Junagadh, and we will not be able to survive even 7 minutes or longer than 7 minutes. As you know, person cannot survive longer than 7 minutes without oxygen. So that is oxygen bomb. Doesn't do any kind of material damage, doesn't do any kind of physical damage, but it sucks up all the oxygen and the person succumbs to death. Diabetes is also one of the reasons. That is why diabetic people are told that don't go into hyperglycemia nor hypoglycemia. Your diabetes must not go beyond 200 and must not go lower than 100. If it goes lower than 100, then the person can definitely end up in coma, in comatose condition. Stroke. When stroke occurs, cerebral stroke, blood stops going into the brain veins are all clogged up, and in that kind of condition, brain starves of oxygen, brain doesn't get oxygen, and the brain stops functioning. Remember, comatose person is not brain dead, but his brain actually malfunctions. Point number 2 is treatment. What kind of treatments are available? As a matter of fact, there are no any kind of pinpoint treatment what to do about that. But still, doctors are going to use lots of antibiotics to thwart infection, to cure infection. Oxygen. Like earlier we discussed that when hypoxia occurs, in hypoxia a person is deficient or starves of oxygen. So give him oxygen. Perhaps oxygen, shooting oxygen in his body and the brain can revive that person sooner. Glucose. Like we earlier discussed, the diabetic person who suffers from the hypoglycemia, means his sugar level is under 100 or under 90 and he goes into coma, so give him oxygen and he will revive. Treating underlying condition. Find out what were the condition, what were the reasons underlying. That neither patient knew about it, nor the doctor knew about it, nor the family members knew about it. Find out that and treat those underlying condition or underlying causes. Lobotomy or surgical approach is also being tried, being experimented, that perhaps, they can actually perform some kind of invasive surgery of our cerebral faculty, of our brain. And this way they can actually revive the person from the coma earlier. Point number 3 is outlook. What is outlook for the future? Research and development, aggressive, intense research and development has been going on to find out every single cause, every single reason behind the comatose condition of the person. How to prevent the person becoming comatose. So many ambitious prediction and optimistic approach for the better drug, better treatment, better condition, better understanding. Look, if we survive or we revive out of any kind of condition, whether it's a COVID or cancer, we can revive only if doctor has ample amount of knowledge about that particular disease. He diagnoses us absolutely precisely. If he diagnoses absolutely precisely, then and then he can actually prescribe the right type of medicine, right type of treatment. But if the doctor is actually not absolutely sure and he is wishy-washy about our disease, that he is definitely going to fumble, he is going to prescribe different kind of medicines. The same thing happened with me. I never had COVID. Never ever had COVID, I know. But what happened that I was fasting 18 days. I was not eating proper food. And all of a sudden my digestive system, what actually happened that my digestive system actually shut off. Metabolism went into catabolism. I stopped eating. I went to Dr. Vaja, Ilyas Vaja. Remember the name? Dr. Ilyas Vaja was MD. I went over there. He definitely just predicted his diagnosis was of the cough. He looked at me, he looked at my age. He did not listen to me that I don't eat and I'm fasting. He sent me for this report and that report and this report and that. And he started giving me injection and he started giving me oxygen and this and that. He actually made me semi-comatose, vegetative state. I was actually 5 days treatment I actually got so worse that I was thinking that I'm going to die. He never listened that my metabolism has gone into catabolism. I cannot eat. I cannot eat. I don't have any kind of fever. I don't have any kind of breathing problem. I don't have any kind of hypoxia. I'm breathing fine, but I cannot eat. That is why it is about 10, 15 days I have not eaten. But he never listened. He did whatever he thought. And he was totally certain and totally determined that I was suffering from COVID. So he started pumping me the COVID medicine. Next doctor was Dr. Khan, Care Hospital. I went over there, and the first thing he did was he started opening up my digestive system. And next day I was eating, and I never felt like I was sick. But I was too weak. I was totally exhausted. I was in semi-comatose condition. I stayed in hospital, that Care Hospital for about 6 days and 6 nights. I was never sick like other people were there. They had a COVID and the way they were sick. I was not that sick over there because my food started going in, my energy started reviving, and then now everything is just hunky-dory. So doctor must know the nature of your disease. Then and then you will be cured. So outlook for the comatose condition is very, very, very hopeful. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Better days are yet to come by the grace of God. But until then, we should actually take care of ourselves. That is why God has put, remember, God is very practical. God has put brain on the top. He should have put the brain in our ankle, in our knees, in our thighs, in our stomach. No, he put in our head and protected the brain with very strong skull. Skull bones are very strong, but still be able to take care of us. Then God is going to take care of us. God bless everyone on this planet. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.